Hi guys, I'm Melinda. Today we're gonna be playing Varka Story Quest. So let's do it. Do this. Um. Oh, god damn it!
Huh? Where'd this letter in our bag come from? Could it just blow in on the breeze? Oh, it's from the Tone Deaf Bard. Apparently, he wants to hear all about our adventures in Not Cry. Maybe we can get some tasty treats out of him in return. Come on, let's go to Star Snatch Cliff.
Tasty desserts. I know that's farther, but like I don't want to climb.
Welcome back, old friend. And how should I be addressing you these days? The honorary knight of Mondstadt? The Tumaini of Natlan? Or the great hero of...
Wow, you sure have your finger on the pulse. We've barely caught our breath since Not Cry, but it sounds like you've already heard about what went...
News travels fast on the wind. But before I can turn your tales into tunes, my wine and my lyre are at the ready. So please, traveler, take a seat and tell me your tale. Amazing! Incredible! The Rahier of Solnari and the Doctor? Truly a tale for the age! So I'm guessing the Wild Hunt is a thing of the past now that you've defeated the Rahier of Solnari.
Seems that way. We were kind of focused on dealing with the Doctor, though.
Well, that's good to hear. Hey, now that the Northern Abyss calamity is finally resolved, Varka must be getting ready for the triumphant return of his expedition. I haven't seen him in the longest time. He must have so many stories to share.
Right! My mom was wondering about that, too. He did call you Barbados. But weren't you still fast asleep back when he was in Mondstadt?
Let's call it half asleep. I was resting my eyes in the Thousand Winds Temple one day when I heard a commotion outside. It was a young knight who had journeyed there in search of trials and oracles after hearing some tall tales at the local tavern. In fact, all that awaited him were moss-covered walls and an angry ruin guard. But he seemed completely unfazed, laughing heartily as he sent the ruin guard's missiles flying off into the horizons.
Huh! They must have been making quite a racket if it was enough to wake up the tone deaf.
Yeah, it sounded...
I didn't get that. I still have that thing.
Oh, bring it on.
like that.
Lois.
Giving up already? You're not half as tough as Varka said.
Guy
A
who has
young
three
knight of
characters.
Favonius trekking out to the Thousand Winds Temple in search of adventure.
The bard in green cloak. I was just wondering I was gonna track you down.
Oh! So you were looking for the tone deaf bard? Strange place to start your search.
Hold on. Blonde hair, white hair. You must be the honorary knight. And Paimon! The Grand Master talks about you all the time. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lowen, Vice Captain of the 5th Company of the Knights of Favonius and a member of the Expeditionary Force. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, so you're part of the expedition, huh? Right.
That's probably because when the wild hunt was still running rampant, I spent most of my time out on my own, making mincemeat out of monsters. I barely went back to basics. Then, once the wild hunt calmed down, I got sent back to Mondstadt. Mixed blessing, if you ask me. Sounds like I missed out on some
No wonder we never saw you while we were dealing with the doctor. So, why did Varka send you back?
Deliver some letters. There's one for the Knights of Favonius, one for the church, another for the Dawn Winery.
Jeez, how many people has he sent to deliver his mail now? Mika, Inepa, Lolan. He should just hire a full-time mailman already. In fact, he's earned himself a new nickname. Let's go with Sir Writes a Lot.
Sir writes a lot.
I'll have you know that poetry and letters were humanity's earliest means of expressing their thoughts. So, tone deaf or not, I wear the title of Bard with pride. And I consider Sir Writes a Lot to be quite a compliment.
Wait, really? Darn it! Maybe Paimon should come up with some harder-hitting nicknames for these two.
Anyway, since this young man has come all the way to the Thousand Winds Temple looking for me,
You sure are. To use the Grand Master.
This one is for the bard in green clothes. These days, doesn't really have an address as such. You could start by asking around in Mondstadt, or maybe try your...
I figured that since there was this punching bag here, ruin card, I could get some practice in while I was at it. So, I came right here the second I got back to...
That Varka is so slapdash sometimes. It's a good thing we happen to be nearby.
Oh, he also said to remind you to write back.
nothing in particular. Just some idle chatter between two drinking buddies. But if I'm supposed to write back this time... I'll need... Varka gave you a whole bunch of letters to deliver, right? Maybe you can head into Mondstadt and deliver the rest of them.
My thoughts exactly. Assuming I can find the way. Hopefully the roads haven't changed too much since...
Well, why don't we have Mondstadt's honorary knight escort this homeward-bound wanderer to the city? I'm sure some of the recipients of Varka's letters will turn out to be old friends of yours.
Let's go! It's been a while since Paimon's done any guide work.
Thank you so much, honorary knight. And you, Miss Guide.
The abyss. The wild hunt. Get home safe, Varka.
Why do my ears feel so hot all of it? Surely there's no way anyone found the secret stash of cash in my office. That would be terrible.
Grandmaster, bad time to get to... Watch out! Enemies approaching!
Huh? Oh, it's just a few stragglers. This expedition is almost over. We just need to deal with these final few... We will make our triumph...
Right?
Stormwind! Stormwind!
I'm not leaving.
Without the ratio of Sonari to direct them, it seems like all that's left is their primal urge to destroy.
If this is all that the Wild Hunt can muster now, surely the Lightkeepers of Nodcry will be able to deal with what's left.
Just like I thought. What we should be wary of...
Grandmaster, based on Lightkeeper intel and our own reconnaissance, one of the suspected
Good. You know the drill. Stay here and stand guard.
Yes, Grandmaster.
We meet again, Andreas.
So, you've returned from Mondstadt. Don't you want to see what it looks like now? I was planning to take a look around there myself. Perhaps you could be my guide.
What's this? An echo from 1,000 years ago? Everything seems normal so far. Here's hoping I'm just overthinking things. There are 2 other... It's your turn, my friend. Come, Andreas!
Although, for returning to your old home, perhaps Andreas is a little too ostentatious.
Boreas. Huh?
Injustice, corruption, iniquity. Is the surface world still as wretched and foul as ever? Answer me, heir to the knighthood of Boreas.
Looks like I'm not getting out of this without a fight. That's where things stand with the expedition. The victors will be returning home soon, so... P.S. I hope everyone's keeping up with their daily training. I'll be testing you all when I get back to make sure no one's regressed. P.P.S. I wrote individual letters for each and every one of you. Don't forget to write back.
That's all.
Everyone gets one? Wow! Sir Writes-A-Lot is really living up to his name.
I guess the Grand Master must have something specific to say to each of us.
Even I got a letter, and I'm not a real knight yet.
Jean? Oh, yes. That's our grand... by the way, anyone know where I can find the cavalry captain? I have a letter for him as well. You mean Kaya? He said he was meeting a friend from the... allegedly for work. Said he was exchanging intel. But I'd say there's a
Hi, Mom Beth. There'll be lots of familiar faces there. How about we deliver Kaya's letter?
Really? Oh, that would be a great help. Our thanks to you too, Lowen. The other knights will help distribute the remaining letters. You've had a long... Great. But I won't be resting just yet. I have one last letter to deliver to Wolvendom. This one, I was planning... I heard that another challenger recently passed Boreas' trial. Well, with any luck, that wolf might be willing to reveal himself to me. Very well. But please remember to... I will. Goodbye.
Oh,
Grandmaster offered lots of advice in his letter regarding my recent assessments. I didn't think he'd spare a thought for that kind of thing in the middle of an expedition. So, Honorary Knight, if you have the time, do you think you could help me out with my special training?
He wants to test me to see if my skills have regressed? I still haven't forgotten how he went easy on me last time. I'm assuming you must have seen him going all out before. When the time comes...
Ah, the Grand Master. The archives are filled with documents. On another note, have you spoken to Jean? I hope she'll...
no one else here? I suppose. You know.
Okay, we'll deliver these letters to the Adventurers Guild and the Cat's Tail. You can just handle the ones for the Angel share.
The expedition is finally wrapping up. Oh, I hope the maps I made on our way there are good enough to get them safely.
The Grand Master wrote in his letter that the boom blossom bombs we sent worked really well. He wants to know if we've made any more.
Uncle Varka's coming home? I can't wait to go outside and play with him.
Aww.
Hello. May the Animo Archon protect you. Please be quiet.
Honorary Knight, you're still here?
Huh? But Varka's coming back. The situation in Nocra is...
True. From what you and Lowen have told me, it seems that Mondstadt no longer faces any threat from the perils of the North, be they the wild. And yet, for some reason, I can't.
If I don't make it back from this expedition, you'll have to assume the mantle of Grand Master of the Knights of Favon. If it comes to that, remember to train the next Knight of Boreas in my stead. I've planted some promising seeds in Mondstadt, but they still need time to grow. Some have yet to master the art of social interaction. Some don't yet understand that they, too, need protecting. And some, well, some might not even want to be a knight. What's wrong? There's no need to frown. I'm going on an expedition, not marching to my death. This is all just a contingency plan in the event that I'm unable to return. Until I return, I leave them in your...
The lineage of the Knights of Boreas has nearly been extinguished twice. The first wandering knight to claim the title arrived in Mondstadt 1,000 years ago, along with his wolf companion. He was as free as the wind. He left no succession plan behind. Even his name was lost to history. The title of Boreas could have disappeared from Mondstadt just as but he had an informal disciple, a knight named Ravenwood, who admired the Knight of Boreas greatly. When the old aristocracy tried to regain power, Ravenwood came once more to Mondstadt's defense. From then on, the title of Knight of Boreas was passed down from generation to generation.
Wolf spirit?
Correct. As you may already know, the Wolf of the North is the surviving spirit, and the Knight of Boreas serves as an intermediary between him and humanity. Lupus Boreas, who had never known what it meant to love, came to understand it through the journey with his human This was once a well-known tale in Mondstadt, but these days, few people are aware that the starting point of the Wolf King's journey...
Huh?
The great Wolf King of the North came here from Nodcry. Although he doesn't like to speak of his past. In fact, as such, the Grand Master didn't disclose any concrete objectives before departing on his expedition. I couldn't help but wonder whether it might somehow be related to... I kept my speculations to myself, however. Sharing them would only you experience the turmoil caused by Duvall and the East Wind's actions for yourself.
No wonder Varka wasn't clear about his motives.
Very possibly. He was probably also reserving judgment. Having heard about your experiences in Nodcry, I now suspect, and as it turns out, the calamity born in the North wasn't an ancient god. Yes, I completely agree. The tide, even if his contingency plan...
I didn't read that part.
Thank you for being such a patient listener. If you have any spare time, would you mind stopping off to say hello to the other knights? I'm sure
I think that's the other. Maybe upstairs. I forgot. Like, it's only this one that's open. Is he? Yeah. Okay. Just I'll go to Angel's share.
That turned into a pretty long conversation, huh? We should probably go deliver those letters to the Angel's share now.
When you're mixing drinks in hot weather, Start by pouring in cold water and add ice cubes. Then drain out the water before adding the other ingredients. How's that for a secret recipe? Maybe it's worth a little intel in return.
Please. I've known that little trick for a good 10 years at least. You'll have to offer something a little more substantial.
I know there's no one else in the tavern right now, but do you two really need to talk so loudly? Especially if you're supposed to be exchanging confidential...
Kaya! Rosaria! D-Luke!
Looks like it's about to get even noisier.
A little liveliness never killed anyone. Traveler, Paimon.
Please allow me to once again express my sincere condolences regarding your late father and the incident with Eric. I hope you will give some serious consideration to the question I asked you before I left, though I'm sure you're tired of hearing me ask by now. The Knights of Favonius will always welcome.
From the look on your face, I'm guessing the Grand Master is still refusing to drop it?
He nags like an old man. It's hardly surprising.
Huh? Drop what?
Nothing, really. Before leaving on the expedition, Varka came here to chat with... He, asked me if I'd consider rejoining the Knights of Favonius, and I declined. He expressed his regret about everything that happened, and asked me to
Yeah, right. Sounds like you skipped a lot of details. There's clearly...
Whatever details I chose to omit are in the past. Dragging them...
You say that now, but back then, you couldn't let it go. You and the Knights of Favonius...
I wasn't seeing the full picture. But my answer, both the Grandmaster and the acting Grandmaster, I can't see the shadows that lurk beneath.
If I had a Mora for every time I've heard you repeat that argument. I actually don't disagree with the first part of what you said. But don't you...
When you join an organization, you're bound by its rules, no matter how free it may seem on the surface.
You think so? Never mind the Knights. Have you honestly ever been bound by the rule?
Good question. Have you considered that maybe that's why I chose to join the church and not the Knights to begin with?
Are they arguing or not? It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, kind of like the contingencies Jean was talking about. The more ways they have to protect their home, the better.
What should I report back to the Grand Master on? Let me think. Public order inside the city, monster activity in the wild. Oh, and a review of the latest vintages.
My reply won't be a long one, as usual. I'm sure Varka won't.
If you hadn't had to deliver that guy's mail, you wouldn't have been subjected to all this tedious arguing. When I write back, I'll tell him to quit making trouble for other people.
It's no trouble. Lowen did most of the work. We just volunteered to do the last leg of the journey. Mostly so we could come say hello.
So you see what's really going on here? All three of us fell for that old rascal's scheme far too readily.
Huh? Scheme? What do you mean?
No. While I'm sure Varka knows full well that D-Luke would never agree to rejoin the Knights, I believe the sentiments he expressed were genuine, as was his offer to There are people like Kaya and I, and then there are those who are true champions of justice to the core. Those people are the most susceptible to being driven to extremes by great upheaval. It's happened in Mondstadt before. Not only that, but it happened to a Knight of Boreas. That'll really hit home for Varka. And that's why his nagging is even more persistent than usual. Yeah. So no one's told you this before? The lineage of the Knights of Boreas had nearly been extinguished twice in history. The first was at its inception. The second?
Oh! Wasn't Jean telling us about this? Wait. And then we got caught up talking about the expedition, and we never got around to the...
I happened to hear about it from Varka once when he was drinking and started yammering on. The second crisis in the Knights of Boreas lineage. Although the Knights of Boreas are meant to be intermediaries between humans and wolves, of those who have, the best known are the first Knight of Boreas, Raven. But 500 years ago, there was one who earned the respect of Boreas even before gaining the title. He was a disciple of Rostam. They thought he would become the mightiest Knight of Boreas. He was the perfect knight. Righteous, principled.
Yikes! Bloodstained knight...
Well, apparently his original title was the White Knight, but he lost countless comrades during the Abyssal Calamity 500 years ago. The endless bloodshed stained his sword and armor a crimson as deep as black. Transforming the White... After that, he threw himself completely into battling monsters. Leaving Mondstadt and the Knights of Favone, it's hard to say whether the loss of an important figure in his life is what drove him to the point of obsession, or whether he was already too far gone to save. But had he known that the Knights of Favonius would always welcome him back, perhaps things would have turned out So if you want my opinion, the reason why Varka keeps asking Diluc to rejoin, despite knowing that he'll never say yes, is to let him know you're not alone. After all these years, he's still as persistent as ever. Just like how he used to be with me.
Huh. Turns out Varka's a lot more thoughtful than he lets on. Paimon had the wrong idea about him.
No.
Anyway, there's still something about this whole Boreas business that Paimon isn't really getting. Wasn't Andreas a god in Mondstadt thousands of years in the past? If so, why did Jean say that Boreas and the Wandering Knight only arrived here just 1,000 years ago? Plus, Paimon's super curious about what happened to Roland. That's a great idea! Jean said he hasn't been showing himself much lately, but he always seemed... What's going on here? Was Wolfendom always the Wild Hunt? What are they doing here? Watch out!
You poor... Cleanup sequence initiated.
Are you alright? Oh no! What now? It better not be more Wild Hunt monsters!
Stop right there. Answer me this. The 2 letters I gave you, who are they for?
2 letters? Wasn't it 3?
Okay. Well, Paimon's coolest naive expression doesn't appear to be an act.
Hey! What are you trying to say? Wait, what are you trying to say, huh? Huh? Paimon passed a test? Really? Huh? She didn't even realize she was taking one!
You may dispense with your suspicions. The Wolfpack has borne witness.
Well, if the boss of Wolfendom has vouched for you, I guess I should apologize for doubting you just now.
Sure was.
Fortunately, my experience in Nodcry didn't go to waste. Turns out the Wild Hunt all feel the same when you stab them.
They didn't stand a chance.
Something seems wrong with that old wolf, though. Go.
Lupus Boreas not injured? What?
You are not to blame. They followed my trail from the distant north across the ley lines. We meet again, human Lup.
So, are you saying that the wild hunt we just got attacked by came all the way from Nodcry to Mondstadt?
As you know, I stand before you as an incomplete being. I am but one remnant of the god, and the source of this turmoil. I can
Huh? Now Paimon's even more confused. How can you be in two places at once?
For many gods, housing a part of their soul within an object is no difficult feat. But those who can perform such delicate partitions as this are rare, even among the gods. The Wolf King, Andrius, was particularly adept in this art.
Huh? The bard's...
Told Bard?
Maybe the god of Animo guided me here. For it appears that someone is in need of a tale from the distant past. And our wolf friend doesn't seem too keen on recounting it himself. Who better than a bard to do the honors? Lord Boreas, do I...
As you wish.
Lupus Boreas wandered the frozen tundra and stumbled into the Sealy Hall. Enchanted by their song, tender as the dawn starlight, and curious about the ways of humankind, the wolf bade farewell to his home and set off for the city to the south. As the high tower crumbled and the fierce winds fell silent, Lupus Boreas, who once had hunted with the storm winds himself, looked within and inquired, was the shelter he provided for humanity really any different from that given by the reclusive king in his tower? The wolf entrusted those under his protection to a new god and quietly returned to the frozen north. There, in a palace long since abandoned by its former master, the great wolf closed his eyes and slept. 500 bitter winters passed, then 500 equally frigid springs. He slumbered undisturbed until a night stumbled in from the cold, just as Lupus Boreas had once done at the Sealy Hall, and woke him at long last. The night asked the wolf to join him on a journey south, to see once more the land that had all but faded from his memory. The gentle wolf, unwilling to refuse the human's earnest plea, split his soul into two halves and left his home once more. Seeing how the ice and snow had given way to verdant plains, hearing the laughter and song that now filled the once somber city, the aging Lupus Boreas turned to his friend, the god of Animo, and remarked, "So, this is the world the humans dreamed of." Though the night's journey was not yet over, the wolf chose to bid farewell to his companion here. He had written the end to his story. What knowledge he had been gifted, well, that's how a bard would tell the tale. Lord Boreas.
There is no need for you to ask.
So that's what happened. You returned to Mondstadt with that knight 1,000 years ago, and then, for the sake of the new Mondstadt,
You need not feel remorse on my account. And if anyone should feel regret, it is the part of me who remained in Nodcry. I fear Andrius has not found peace in his heart even to the... That is surely why those vile aberrations were able to exploit his weakness, sowing the seeds of all the
But we followed Boreas' trail in Nodcry. We investigated and discovered no...
Andrius should still be slumbering by the lakeside. Perhaps all the and there's more. I detect another familiar scent from across the ley lines.
Oh, the White Knight who became the Bloodstained Knight? The mightiest knight of Boreas?
I remember him as just a man, His lifespan should be no longer than it was the ancient kingdom of Conria, as you call it.
If you want to get to the bottom of this, I'm afraid you'll have to make another trip to, as luck would have it, another old friend of ours just so happens to be free right now. If you ask him nicely, he might give you a lift. That,
No wonder I can suddenly sense the east wind.
if even Mondstadt has been affected by the fallout, Nodcry must be in...
Varka, is he in danger?
I believe too many passengers would slow our dear friend down. I fear he only has room to carry one person. Along.
All right. Wish it could be me, but I accept that we should send our strongest warrior to fight. I'll stay here and deal with any wild hunt that try harassing Mondstadt. It'll be a good chance.
I stay in Mondstadt too. With Traveler's help, Varka will be safe.
Razor, give me your eye. Golden-haired traveler, give this token to the current knight of Boreas. It is a wolf spirit. It contains my power and thoughts. Though I have given him a piece before, this should bring him new.
The Dominator of Wolves once bestowed the power of his soul upon his pack, strengthening their hearts and...
But human hearts and flesh cannot bear the soul of a wolf directly. It would be akin to forcefully merging a human to prevent the entanglement of souls. The most I can do is temporarily house my... Although, truth be told, that knight does not lack for power. The great wolf king of the north remains strong for now.
I will protect Lupakal, the north, and Varka.
Just give me the word whenever you're ready.
I can read Varka's letter. I will try my best.
Wolf's claws make poor instruments for writing human words. But
I sure didn't expect my experience fighting the wild-hunted Nodcry to come in handy back here at Mondstadt. Almost makes me wonder if this was... Also, how come that bard knows so much, and what was he doing at the... Well, whatever. I don't really care. As long as I get to do some fighting. I'm looking forward to trading blows with Lupus Boreas when he's fully recovered. I bet a wipe...
So, I don't know how long this quest is. Let me just check. It's like about 2 hours. That's it. I think. Because, what time is it?
Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nodcry. The root of this turmoil lies with the remnant. He once left Nodcry and braved the... Instead, he returned to the north when the wolf spirit could no longer... Any questions before you set off? 500 years ago, Roland, he believed firmly in his own idea. Neither his mentor, but what was the scent that reeks of blood that Lupus Boreas sensed? And what is its connection to Conria? Any questions before you set off? The soul of a wolf is as unyielding as ice, but human hearts and flesh cannot contain the soul. That's why Lupus Boreas developed the technique of... In fact, there is an ancient song that tells this tale. A weapon once of common iron, now through friendship turned divine. Twixt man and wolf a bond was made. As much as he might claim not to... Any questions before you set off? All right. Over to you, Dvalin.
The Knight of Boreas awaits below. We must part ways here. Barbatos and I have...
All right. Hey, wait. How are we getting down?
Oh my god, why did we look like that?
Hold the line! The enemy's on the brink of collapse!
Grandmaster! It's...
Haha! Reinforcements! It's about time!
And Paimon too!
We're just about hanging in there. Most of their grunts are taken care of now. Fight or flight? What will it be,
As expected, this hastily summoned wild hunt, but they have served their purpose. Farewell, heir to the knighthood of Boreas.
Guess they're retreating for now.
So that Wolf of the North look-alike, that was Andreas? But why would he be leading the wild hunt? And why was he talking about the bloodstain? Ugh, forget that. We can save the details for later.
There's no point chasing after him. We've crossed blades already, and it ended in a stalemate. Right now, true. We're still not certain of his true identity, but whether he's killing him might be just about possible. But the difficult part is...
Huh? What do you mean?
No. Judging from our skirmishes so far, I don't think he's got any special abilities, but compared to Rerir, our current foe clearly has a better understanding of how to exploit Nodcry to his advantage, particularly when it comes to Andreas's remnant soul. Exactly. Sounds like you realize what... I managed to cut off a sample from our foe, which Albedo and Durin are analyzing as we speak. Meanwhile, we still have some big challenges ahead.
The meeting's probably gonna be in the biggest tent, right? Looks like a bunch of people are there already.
Hold
Go
up.
chat with them.
Hey, good to see you again. She went to see Lauma and Columbina at the Frostmoon Scions.
That means the recent wild hunt attacks have nothing to do with Rerir, right?
Oh, they're keeping a close watch on it just in case. Oh yeah, Lauma and Columbina asked me to pass... you know something? These Knights of Favonius are paying...
The nipple.
Short distance propulsion module on cooldown. Switching to chat mode. Hello there, Paimon. Varka placed a sizable order with the Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop. I know. Secondly, I am also here to attend the meeting.
Huh? Flint! Paimon thought the Lightkeeper's rep would be Iqua or Nikita.
You're quite right. However, Itlua and Nikita are both busy organizing the Ratniki's region-wide response to the recent... And since I'm well acquainted with everyone else here, I was the one they recommended to attend the meeting. Sometimes you don't get a choice.
Hey, Honorary Knight. Looks like Albedo and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. You want to wait for them here? Great. While we're waiting, could you update me? And that's where things stand. The Wild Hunt is no longer under the Reikir of Solnari's control, but it has been reborn. Intel from the Frostmoon Scions and the Curatorium of Secrets corroborates this. No disturbances have been detected in the space where Rere resides. What we are facing here is a completely new...
Summarizing current situation. To confirm, the present leader of the Wild Hunt is the creature resembling a wolf. Andreas.
More precisely, it's the external will that has seized control of Andrias' spirit, namely Roland, the bloodstained knight.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm completely lost. Isn't Roland some Mondstatter from like 500? How'd he suddenly get wrapped up with a god from 1,000 years in the past and the present day Wild Hunt?
Allow us to explain that part. Are you familiar with compensation mechanisms? When an organism sustains damage, relevant tissues will undergo changes to offset the loss of function. For example, when one kidney is damaged, the other will be strengthened to compensate. Or, when a main artery is blocked, the collateral vessels become more active. Similarly, when the Wild Hunt lost their leader, the Abyss harnessed the memories that flow throughout the ley lines to fashion a new one, fit for the present circumstances. That new leader is a mirror image of Roland, the bloodstained knight.
Right. No matter how strong the compensation is, it will never quite match the functionality of the original organ. The Roland replica can't possibly imitate Barir's overwhelming power, nor his ability to disguise himself as othered. So, the Abyss made use of the connection between Roland and Boreas to compensate for this lack of power.
The replica corrupted and took control of Andreas as he slumbered by the bank of Amsvartnir, ultimately manifesting as the giant beast that you all witnessed. However, exactly why the Abyss chose Roland to mimic, and indeed how it was able to do so, remains.
I guess he must have gotten caught up with the Abyss or Nodcry somehow during his wanderings through Tevat. But we can keep those questions on the back burner.
Okay, Paimon gets all that, but what did you mean when you said we can't kill him right?
We can't kill him right now because a dead god may prove more dangerous than a living. From intelligence gathered during the expedition, we have reason to believe that the power released when a god is felled, worse still, the wrath that remains after a god's passing, becomes a source of endless turmoil. Once god remains contaminate the land, they will persist for thousands of... This land has already been ravaged by the Wild Hunt. If we add god remains to the mix, it'd be like adding salt to an open wound, placing everyone who lives here in perilous danger.
Query. While I can indeed find records of disasters caused by god remains in my database, there also appear to be cases of gods dying naturally with no ill effects. In that land, the passing of the Pyro Archon's flame is a common occurrence throughout history, and even the part of Andreas who remains in Mondstadt has experienced death once before.
Great question. Glad you asked. Honorary Knight, you said Lupus Boreas gave you a token to pass on to me? Please, present it now. Come forth, Boreas.
This form has come to the end of its time. My soul will fall into silence, and my power. Do not grieve for me. A final.
You saw it too. You must have keen powers of perception. Not that it surprises me. That was Boreas' final thoughts before merging with the ley lines. It's the reason Mondstadt remains In his final moments, he made a choice to give everything he was to the ley lines. All to protect Mondstadt.
Sounds like Andrea.
Yes. And now our task is to return the... Only then can he break free from the corruption and control of the Abyss, and make that decision once more.
I see. I would say that planting thoughts inside the mind of a god sounds a little far-fetched.
Wait, we already have a perfect solution? Then why are we even having this?
Ha ha ha. If only it were that simple. Unfortunately, this one thought alone is unlikely to be powerful enough to break through the Abyss's control. We need to find a way to make the thought within this sword stronger, and...
For now,
Boreas needs all his remaining strength to fight against the abyssal corruption to Mondstadt's ley lines. He can't afford... However, since his form was unstable during his journey with the first night of Boreas, many wolf spirit fragments were left behind along. If we can collect those fragments, we can use them to strengthen his decision.
So we need to retrace his steps and look for random fragments? But they could be anywhere between Notcry and Mondstadt.
You don't need to worry about that. There's a few fragments left to gather in Notcry, but apart from that, most of them are already inside this sword. I've been collecting them during the whole expedition.
Huh? Wait, really?
I mean, it's an expedition, not a stroll in the park. Each step of the way, we've been hard at work planning for every possible contingency. Not just the wild hunt in the abyss, but ancient...
Sounds like this plan was a long time in the making.
As a matter of fact, I did. I caught a glimpse of fate's reflection. But I can't take credit. Still, all I foresaw was that an abyssal calamity was brewing in the north. And I known more. Instead, we've had to make best guesses, prepare for every possible... Sure is. Just one crucial step remains. We need to gather the last few wolf spirit fragments scattered around Nodcry. According to what Boreas told me before we left Mondstadt, his form was at its most unstable at the beginning of his journey. That means the fragments... But of course, we've been tied up fighting battles since the day we set foot in Nodcry. First with the Wild Hunt, then with the Doctor.
Okay, so...
I managed to gather one fragment before Roland reappeared. I also have a confirmed location for the second. As for the third fragment, we've identified a general search area to focus on. But we'll need all hands on deck to pin... The final snag is that since our foe is a replica of Roland, he too will be aware of Andrias' history. He's sure to try and sabotage our plans by any means.
With our foe being from Mondstadt, it's our
And since the Wild Hunt is involved, the Lightkeepers will provide...
The Clink Clink Crumkake craft shop will also help in any way we can.
So what do they need me here for? Wait, I think maybe I signed a contract at some point. Didn't exactly scrutinize it, though. I mean, who actually reads those things anyway?
Ah, great. Knew I could count on you all. Lastly, our friend from the Curatorium of Secrets will provide intel and relay battlefield communications. Looking at you, Yehoda.
So, he'll be darting back and forth across the battlefield, dodging the Wild Hunt.
Rating for Yehoda updated. Higher quality ingredients will be used to prepare your future.
Darn it!
I'll deal with the second wolf spirit fragment, which we already know the location of. The Traveler, could you join me in retrieving fragment 2? I have a feeling that your unique constitution might come in handy. All right, time is of the essence. Let's move out, people. Dismiss.
Speaking of contingency plans, I now recall that Varka also made a contingency plan when he asked me to deliver that letter. Perhaps I should ask Aino to prepare some additional
Remnant fragments of an ancient god. Then again, the enemy came...
Why just stare at the wall, girl? At the plants?
Yehoda, you dummy! You took this stupid job of your own free will! Crying isn't gonna get you out of it!
Girl, you good? I don't think she's good. So I'm gonna leave it till here for now because it's 2 hours and it's been 1 hour. So bye guys.